Hello guys, welcome to our fourth and last part of the tutorial series. We finally did it, and today we will just create this example from our last tutorial. If you didn't watch it, definitely watch all the other 3 parts of the tutorial so you can recreate exactly this piece here. Today we will just cover like all the different render passes, like how to use them, which to use them, and how to put them into Photoshop and then just to work them. And yeah, as you see here, this is our final example from our tutorial today that we will cover. And you see we have this kind of foggy, smoky atmosphere, and all the light is just a little bit like of a moody light, just a little bit of mysterious. So as you see, like Photoshop and post-editing, compositing is like a big part of like every production. And yeah, I will just tell you like a few tips and tricks. And one more exciting important thing is, guys, because a few of you ask if I offer like a one-on-one training, one-on-one coaching. Yeah, I just love to help people and make tutorials and just like to share my knowledge on how I can live as a freelancer and make like good money and make a living out of it. And yeah, like because a lot of you are doing just 3D art or just do product running, but you don't know like all the business stuff of things. And this is so super important, guys. Yeah, I'm offer a coaching, but a different one than others. Like I offer something with a guarantee. So we will go through our normal program. And if you don't get like a client in that 4 to 6 weeks, I will go with you till you get like your first or your first paying client. And yeah, we will learn like a lot of different stuff, how to build a portfolio, what makes a good portfolio, like how to create like good professional looking work, how to get clients, how to reach out to them, what to write to them, how to price your work, and like all that other mindset stuff and motivational stuff, like why we are doing this and why freelancing is such a nice opportunity, and yeah, all that stuff. So yeah, let's jump right into the tutorial. So yeah, this is our result from the last 3 parts. And yeah, let's just go over a few settings. I explain you a few things, what to export and how we can get like the best results later in Photoshop. So let's go to Octane settings. And yeah, here max samples, I don't know, like 1000 is absolutely more than enough with the denoiser. Diffuse depth, yeah, 7 or 8 is okay. Specular depth is not so important because we don't have so much glass, and even the glass that we have is dark, so we can make it even a little bit brighter. And yeah, the rest is okay. Also, we have to check definitely adaptive sampling. That's just making everything much faster. And yeah, so let's check out like the render passes. Yeah, here, you can check out which resolution you want. If it's for print or for a client who wants to print it in magazine, then you have to do like resolution 300 or 600 dpi. But yeah, anyway. And yeah, here you see already like the save option is unchecked because we don't really need it. Maybe if you work for a client and you just want to send like a test render or something, then you can tick it and make it just in JPEG or something, because then the file is not so big. But we need really like the render passes, because yeah, we will also have in the render passes in the different layers, like the beauty pass. So like that image that you see already like right here in the live viewer. So we go to Octane Render settings, and yeah, we go first to main, and we have to tick use denoised beauty pass. So yeah, that's like our denoiser, and that just looks much better, and we don't need so much samples. And yeah, if you have multiple GPUs, you can tick also this. And yeah, here are like a few other interesting options, but we don't need them. So what the most important part is, we have to go to the render AUV group or render passes and enable it. And yeah, if you see, if we disable it, it's what's like the standard. And if you see it's just the image, but nothing is shown here. Yes, it's super slow, I know. But if we check it, and yeah, I prepared something here for you. It's just empty. And now you have here on the left all the different passes. For example, I don't know, like you have AO, that's for ambient occlusion. And if you just double click on it, you see here already, you have it like a little button here. And if you go to it, you just have only the ambient occlusion later separately in a different layer on Photoshop, or if you export it like in EXR in After Effects or something. So yeah, there are like, yeah, there's like a whole different big topic on all the different passes. They are like huge one and everyone has its function. Yeah, I don't go too deep into it because yeah, that's take a lot of videos. But yeah, post-processing is always good. Like if you have something, we don't have it here, so we don't need it. Then also I like to take like all the denoiser, like diffuse direct, diffuse indirect, reflection direct and reflection indirect. It's, yeah, you can compose then all the image, then yeah, you can compose all the image, but right now it's not showing because the render has first to finish. But what we could do is that I can show you, just take the normal diffuse and indirect pass and you see you have like, yeah, it's like showing like the colors which are affected like by direct light and indirect light. I link you a few articles in the description. There's like every pass explained, what you need, how to work with them. Super interesting, like, but a lot of to learn. So yeah, let's go like to a few interesting passes. For example, transmission, because we have in our plans, or in that example, my plans have like a transmission. So they are like a little bit of kind of transparent. They have a transmissioncy, or how is it called? And that's good to take because later we can play with the blending modes and just to push a little bit like the colors of the plants, and you will see it just looks very good. Also super important because we will do some, if you check like here our main pass, we don't have any fog, we don't have any smoke, because yeah, if you are not so on a good GPU like me, for example, like it would take like ages to get like a nice picture with the smoke in the viewport and especially the render. So there's a workaround with it, it's so good. So here's like a Z depth pass. So if we check it and we go here, you see it's just white. If that's happened, it's not so problematic because then we just have to adjust the depth because yeah, it's not always working. So we just delete again the Z depth pass and we go to the Octane settings and we just, to get like our depth, to find it out, we go to info channels kernel and we type in here Z depth and you see already like normally it's on 5. And then you just have to play a little bit around and you see already now we get already like something. And yeah, just try to get like the best contrast, you know, so not something like that because that's definitely too dark. That's too bright in the background. So we can play a little bit later around in Photoshop, but I think I had something like 13. And yeah, so now you just remember the 13. And we go again back to path tracing, so everything as it was. And again, we go to and add the Z depth pass. And now we just click on this triangle here, and you see Z depth max. We have to change it to 13. And then when we render out our Z depth pass, it looks like that, and that's what we need. Also, I forget it in that example because I rendered the image already. So yeah, I can just show it to you like in Photoshop. Like it's good to add like object ID and material ID, because yeah, like as you see, like object ID, we have like a few different ones. So you can just mask it out with like the color picker, or material ID, like every material gets like a different color. So it's really nice to work. It's even better to make it with CryptoMatte, and then you have like all the different passes. But I don't know, in Photoshop, sometimes it works, sometimes not. But yeah, you can just edit and often it works perfectly. Then you have like on a separate layer already like a perfect mask, so you can just select it and yeah, it's just works perfect. But in that example didn't work so nice. So yeah, that's kind of basically it. Yeah, you could also like do different passes like with the light. So you have like every light source as a separate layer. So you could adjust like to every layer. So you could make every light with a separate number, and you could render them out and then compose it just with the different lights. Also very interesting, super interesting. But yeah, just check the article I linked in the description. Super, super interesting. So yeah, now we are basically done. Yeah, if we go back to our render AOV. So again, like enable, just put in a path, like separator, I don't know, like format. It's again like, right now we will do PSD because the thing is, if we see here the depth, we are in 16-bit. 32-bit is even crazier because we have so much more room to play with like the darks and the brightest parts. But Photoshop, I don't understand why Photoshop completely shit when it comes to that. It's like amazing software, but they don't support like 32-bit. It's completely shit. So, but you could use the 32-bit and especially like this EXR format, like in After Effects, when you are like better in After Effects and you compose in After Effects, or Affinity Photo. Affinity Photo, I just downloaded it, but yeah, I don't know, like Photoshop is still, I'm much more comfortable with Photoshop, I don't know. But you could use the EXR in After Effects or Affinity Photo if you use that. So yeah, check that out. But yeah, there's like a ton of nice information. I don't cover it right here now. We will go with PSD and 16-bit because that will work with Photoshop and the most of you works with Photoshop. And yeah, so we need show passes. We don't need save beauty because we have already the denoise beauty. And we need a multi-layer file, especially with Photoshop. We could save all the different passes in folders. But yeah, if we just have like one still, we don't need that really. It's just for animations. But yeah, it's not so important right here, right now. So yeah, that's it. And we can basically render it out. Okay, so now we are here in Photoshop. And you see, if you open the file you saved, we have all the different passes. We have like the Z-depth pass we just created. We have the ambient occlusion. It's just the ambient occlusion. And yeah, like all the different denoised ones and yeah, and at the bottom, if we click Alt-click, we just have here our beauty pass. And now we can layer all the other stuff on top. Or in other examples, you just compose like of all the different passes, like we created denoise beauty one, but it's a different topic. But yeah, so here, yeah, we have something we don't need. First of all, I want to just create a little bit of smoke. And yeah, we just go to the Z-depth pass and we just copy it. So yeah, we will need it in a second. And yeah, now we can just make the Z-depth pass here in the screen blending mode. And you see already we get something, but we have to create like a levels adjustment layer. Yeah, we have to clip it to the Z-depth pass. And then we just drag like our blacks here till the points where the blacks really start. So you see already like the parts in the front are getting like clear, and the further away we go, especially when you do like landscapes or something, the more like white and smoke we get. But yeah, maybe we can play a little bit like with the mid values and maybe make the background, because it's too white and we want a little bit like of a background. We just drag the whites more to the blacks. So yeah, we have something like that, and maybe even more. And you see we get more of the background, and we have to play with the mids here, like with the mid grace values, and to put them more here, but we get a little bit like of a clipping I see already. So yeah, but we can make it different. So yeah, we have something like that, and yeah, we can close it. And yeah, if you see here, if we just enable and disable it, we have already something is happening, you know, like it would be like kind of a fork or something. And that's just like too static, like a little bit just too boring. But yeah, the thing is, if you see here, we want like a little bit of background, and here it's just like too blowing off too much. But here you see on the Z-depth pass, like the background is just a little bit too bright. What we could do, we could go to our Z-depth copy here and give it an adjustment layer, or just control click with L adjustment layer, and just drag like the blacks completely to the right, but make the whites also a little bit more darker. So it's maybe a little bit more grayish background, and the stones are completely black, because we will invert it. So we have something like that, and that we will use as a mask to mask out a little bit like this background here, but only the background. So what do I mean with that? Like we just control click on the Z-depth mask here and copy it, because yeah, like white will, if we create now in a second the mask, will shine everything through, and the gray, it will get like a little bit of masked out, but just a little bit. So we go to our mask over here and just create a mask, and we go with Alt click into the mask and just paste it into the mask what we just copied. So now if we just Alt click and go out of it, and you see maybe we could even make this mask a little bit darker. So again, Control L, and yeah, and now we can make, we just need the dark parts, so the grayish parts, and just drag them a little bit more towards the right. And you see, I think I like that already a lot. Yeah, if you have like before and after, that's cool, because yeah, we can't leave the background as is, because then it's like, it's unlogical, because we have a little bit of fog, so the background would be also like a little bit of fog. But what is definitely missing, if you see it, we miss like all that texture, like the fog of the smoke, and that we can do just by creating a new layer and go B, and I have here like a smoke brush, like from Nemanja, if you know it from Photoshop, he creates nice tutorials. He is selling, I don't know if it's still like that, like for just $1 a few cloud brushes, or you can just download them for free everywhere. Just a few cloud brushes, you see it's nothing special. This one is a little bit too intense. Yeah, something like that, like everything would work, but yeah, I don't know, like this works for me very well. And yeah, you see like something like that. So now if we paint, you see it's not what we need. So we have to give that layer the same Z-depth pass mask as we use for the normal fog. Because if we give it like the same mask, then again, everything what is like in the front won't get any smog. And the further we go like in the distance, like in the image, the more smog we will get. So again, like we just create a mask, and we go with Alt click into our Z-depth mask. So with Alt click, we just isolate it, and we just go for a second and click normal. And we just disable with Shift click this mask here. So yeah, we have here our Z-depth mask. And yeah, that's why it's always good to copy all the Z-depth mask. I hope it's not too confusing. But now again, we can just Control click on it. So everything is selected, and we just copy it. And again, we activate our mask with Shift click, and we go out of the, and yeah, we activate again like all the other stuff and bring it back to screen blending mode. So yeah, we have something like that. And now we get to our new mask of, yeah, let's call it just cloud. So clouds texture or something. And we go into that mask here and just paste it. So we have in our clouds the same mask. So if I just paint with 100% opacity, you see already, yeah, it's not so prominent, because what we could do, if, yeah, we just paint around a little bit, and we go to the cloud mask, and we just, yeah, you see exactly, we just drag the blacks again a little bit more inwards. So yeah, everything what is black here is just, it's just not showing, and everything what is like white in the mask, like the background, it is showing. So yeah, it's exactly what we need. So yeah, I can just erase everything, and now just pick like a grayish color, and a grayish color which is a little bit darker, and maybe have like a little bit like of a bluish tint or something, just a little bit. So yeah, we have two different gray tones, and now just, I don't know, with like 10% opacity, we can just, yeah, just paint here a little bit around, and you see, and also with X, just switch between like the different colors. You can make it even darker. So yeah, maybe make it even 40%. And you see, yes, exactly, we get like this nice texture. And if we press before and after, we have it even here in the middle. And yeah, and you can just adjust. Yeah, that's a little bit too much. And you can just adjust here, like this mask, like this colors, and how much you want like to see through and all that stuff. And yeah, I think I want to put even a little bit more towards the front here, because yeah, if it would be fog, still we would have like in the front a little bit like of smoke, but just a little bit. Oh, and I see it's a little bit dark here, and oh, I just realized my light was a little bit too dark. So yeah, it's just brighter, but yeah, you see guys, like how much we did. And I think it was a little bit confusing, my explanation. It is a few steps, but you have to do it like, just check out the video and just retry it and do it like 2-3 times. And then, yeah, it's just like it's the same process all the time. So yeah, it's not that complicated, but I think I like that a lot. And if we compare it like with our beauty render with alt click, you see it's so much more interesting and happening. And yeah, we can just bring the whole opacity of all that down. And yeah, now, like if we go to our transmission pass, this one, I like to put this transmission pass to boost at some places the colors of the plants even a little bit more. We activate it and we bring it like into screen blending mode. And you see, like especially those parts here, they just get a little bit more of light, a little bit more of brightness, and like especially the ferns here, I don't want it at those plants. So perfect. So we have it here. You see like definitely the result, and we give it a mask, and just with black color and like with a normal brush, I just, yeah, if we go to 100% opacity, we can just mask out those plants here. And let me check. And yeah, I think I like that a lot. Yeah, and here you have the noise diffuse indirect. You see, you could even go like for a dark kind of look. You see, you could make, yeah, if I activate it just like a normal blending mode, it's, yeah, or even that, if you go with some darker kind of look, you know, like you could mask out those cosmetics here and just put like a light on them. So just make them a little bit brighter and paint a little bit brighter around here, you know, and then you could go for a completely different look just with one pass. So you see guys, you can play like really a lot of it. And yeah, sometimes just like things happen you didn't expect, and then you get like such an interesting result, you know. So yeah, just play a little bit around, and yeah, maybe, I don't know, maybe to boost. Yeah, we have something like this here, and ambient occlusion is often useful, maybe not in this one, but just to click on multiply, just to make the shadows where they are just a little bit stronger, or maybe you have some places where you just want a little bit more of a shadow. Yeah, maybe, I don't know, maybe we could give it a mask, control click I, so everything what we paint in white, we get like a little bit more of shadows, and maybe here just to get a little bit with 40%, a little bit more of shadows, but yeah, like to give it like a little bit more of a contrast. But yeah, I think that's really cool, you know, like the stone is like in the shadow, and we have like all that smoke around. And yeah, I think that's really cool. And maybe what we could even do, like to make a little bit more focus here on the products, we could make everything a little bit darker and just make the products, or yeah, just let the brightness be like it is, but everything make around a little bit darker. So for that you have the object ID and the materials ID. Yeah, I don't have them here right now because I forgot to render them out. But what you could do, I just went here like to my original thing here. You just go to the object ID with alt click, and you see you can perfectly mask it out. You just go to select color range, then you have a color picker, and then you can with shift click just select all the different colors you want to pick. And yeah, you have here a fuzziness slider, and you have to play a little bit around it because sometimes it's just selects like other colors you don't need. But in that example, it's perfect. And and then you see you have the perfect selection. And now what we could do, we just go like, for example, to our beauty pass here and just control click J. And then we have on a separate layer with transparency only our products here. And now we could, for example, just make, yeah, let's just do it. Yeah, so we have, you see, it's everything the same right now, but we could make, for example, everything that is beneath I just showing to you just an example. We could make it darker. You see, like we could make it much darker. So this is our layer on top. So yeah, it's definitely doesn't make sense. But we have also here for our exposure a mask, and we could just with B and brush and with a black brush with like 0% hardness and maybe 20% opacity, just paint here everything a little bit brighter. So it's kind of the focus is going completely on the product. So yeah, you see what I mean. But let's go to our example, because then I will show you just exactly ours. So what I just do, I just go like to a new layer and with P just create like some paths around it. Yeah, I don't do it perfect like right here in that example, and I just create like a path around it. Guys, it's just like, just to show it to you, I make it like super fast. And yeah, you see, if you would have the passes, the object ID material passes, you could just select it, but it's always good to practice like just a little bit like of creating paths. And yeah, and you see like here, if I control click enter, then I have like selection, like the plants are also selected, and they shouldn't be, but yeah, for that example it's okay. And again, I just go to like the denoise beauty pass here and just click Ctrl J and put this layer I've just created on the top. And if I just all click, you see again we have just the same bottles here. And now we could just make everything in the background with the curves layer, just maybe a little bit darker. So yeah, I like that. That's really cool. Yeah, so yeah, something like that. Now again with the black brush and with just a little bit of opacity, just make these spots here around the tubes just a little bit brighter. So it just looks a little bit more interesting. And yeah, and maybe we could even, because if we check, for example, it's always good like to just check like the values of everything. Like for that, we create on top of everything just a black and white layer. And you see already like our bottle here, the glass is absolutely too dark. It's completely much darker, you see, than the overall image. And our tube here is a little bit too bright. So we just have to adjust it a little bit, but not exact same. I want a little bit that the cosmetics stand out, because yeah, like that's like the whole thing of it. But we could make the bottle for now definitely much darker. And for that, yeah, I just create a selection out of it. Control click J. So this is just like the bottle, for example. Yeah, it's just like a little bit of compositing, you know. And at the layer beneath, I just delete it. So now we have a tube and a bottle separately. And I go to the bottle and I click the black and white layer, so I have a reference. And I will just adjust with some curves, and I clip it. I will just adjust like a little bit of so I bring the blacks just a little bit more up and give it maybe in general a little bit more of a brightness. So yeah, maybe something like that would work. If we turn off, yeah, it was too much. Yeah, and just bring the opacity a little bit down. So yeah, that makes a little bit more sense. If we compare it, yeah, I think that looks a little bit better. Yeah. And also like the PLANETARA tube, I don't know, make it maybe even a little bit darker. Also it's a little bit too blown out, I think. So yeah, we just bring everything a little bit down and bring the whites just a little bit down so they are not so overblown. But yeah, that's something like that. And now you could do like a lot of different things. I don't know, like add gauge rays or something like that. But yeah, we don't go for that. So yeah, that's for now it's okay. And now what we can do, bring everything together with Control, Shift, Alt and E. So we have a layer where everything is connected and we create a smart object out of it, definitely. And we go to the camera raw filter and just play a little bit around in it. So yeah, that looks something like that. And yeah, we could make it, maybe I want it a little bit more cooler. And yeah, just add a little bit even more of a contrast. And yeah, you see like our histogram, how is it called, looks pretty good. Like we don't have any blacks that are blown out or like too dark, and no white points which are too dark. But yeah, maybe we can, yeah, you see like highlights, you see like this one here, that is just like the bottle. So if we bring the highlights too much up, the bottle gets overblown. So yeah, have a look on it. So we just bring the highlights a little bit down, and yeah, maybe, yeah, make the shadows a little bit brighter, because otherwise it's too contrasty. So yeah, we can add definitely a little bit of clarity and texture. Yeah, maybe texture not, but just a clarity, because you see, like especially like our smog gets a little bit more prominent. And yeah, maybe just add a little bit of vibrance. And yeah, if you have some colors you don't like, you could like select them here in the color mixer and just bring them down. I don't know, like if I don't want like the greens and I want everything like more of a gray tones, yeah, something like that. But also I want to bring a little bit more of a color grading, like in the highlights, just with alt click, just drag it a little bit more into orange. So the bright parts get a little bit more like of a warmer look. That's like the point of it, because yeah, it's kind of like a sun shining or something. And in the midtones, or I mean like in the shadows, we just give it like a little bit more of a blue tones. So yeah, if we go to 25 or even 12%, yeah, you see it's already very cool. Let's go to effects, add a little bit of vignette, don't add too much. And especially just a little bit of grain, because yeah, like I told you that already a lot of times, like gradient is always, I mean grain is always a little bit good, because yeah, it's, especially if there would be like a real photo, something like that, like because it's dark, I know it's not possible and all that stuff because it's unrealistic, but you would have a little bit like of a noise and grain like in the photographies, and everything it just brings together, yeah. Yeah, I think that's really it. Yeah, it's super fast, but yeah, this one is a little bit darker maybe, I would say. So maybe we can, yeah, maybe make the exposure maybe a little bit brighter, but we have to see so it's not overblown. So we have something like that, and I think that's awesome, guys. And yeah, guys, I just wanted to show you like all the different techniques. And yeah, also one more important thing, guys, because a few of you asked me if I offer like some kind of coaching or like some kind of guidance. And one important thing that I will do completely different from other people or coaches is that I guarantee you that we do everything together till you get your first or your high paying clients, if you get already like clients. And yeah, like the normal program will just go like 4 to 6 weeks, and we will have like calls and yeah, on how to build a great portfolio, like how to create like a good professional looking work that you can put like on your portfolio and reach out then to clients. So when they see it, they want to work with you, like what to write them, like how to negotiate with them, how to get high prices for all that stuff. And yeah, also like mindset stuff. So I will completely guide you from, yeah, a lot of you just doing like 3D art and product rendering, and maybe you get like some kind of job sometimes. But yeah, like I will teach you like the business side of things, like how to really get like this high paying clients on a consistent base to get them always, like not if you just are lucky. So yeah, just check out like the first link in the description, just read it. Let's have a call. Just check out, like, I don't know, if you want to work with me, if I want to work with you, if it makes sense, or maybe you're too good, or maybe, I don't know. So yeah, just let's have a talk and see if I can help you. And yeah, so that was also the tutorial. Leave a like and subscribe. I appreciate it. Give me some feedback. And yeah, we are finally finished with the Planetara series and we can move to other interesting and exciting things. So yeah, have a nice day and see you on the next videos.